Hey guys, Dirty Keto Grandma here. Happy New Year. Thanks for taking the time to click on this video and check in with me. It is January 1st, 2022, New Year. And yeah, I wanted to check in with you guys and talk a little bit today about, and not just, I'm starting off the new year on a positive note. This is going to be a year of mindfulness and gratitude. But I do want to talk a little bit about depression because I have been struggling with that. It's been something that I do struggle with, and I've struggled with for a long time since I was a kid. But yeah, so I thought we'd talk a little bit about it. I think a lot of people deal with it, struggle with it, and just don't talk about it because it's sad and it's depressing, and who wants to talk about it? I was going to shoot this video yesterday on New Year's Eve, but I was a little depressed yesterday. So I've been meaning to get back in this YouTube room, which is like my spare bedroom / my grandson's room. I'm in the process now of, I'm going to split this room in half and make it half my office / YouTube room. I have a nice sized desk in there, and then typically we have his bed at the end of our bed, and he sleeps down there. It's technically a pack and play. I'm in the process of getting him an actual toddler bed, but I've taken it out of there. I hate having him in a separate room when we sleep, but yeah, I'm gonna separate this room. So I'm gonna go in the YouTube room. I'm in my bedroom now, but I'm gonna step in here in this YouTube room. Now, for any of you that want to know, I work out in here in my room. And I got some music, some mood music from YouTube on in the background here. I work out right here. There's my yoga mat. It's not that big of a space. It's right here at the end of the bed. Even when I have the bed in here for my grandson, I'll just pull it out when I get ready to work out. But anyways, we'll go in here. Here's the spare room. It is a mess, guys. I have not been in here in weeks. Just put that in here so I can have room in the room. Shut the door. Well, I don't want to shut it too much because Fatty Boyle went in here. Turn a little light on. I don't know how bright it is in here, but yeah, this is the desk. It's an absolute mess right now. There's tons of excess toys in here that are my grandson's, some bikes that we don't ride, a cat box. It's kind of gross. So I'm going to sit down here at the desk. And we'll talk a little bit. Set this up here. So, I hope everybody is having a good first day of the year so far. A new year, man. I always like a new year. Like I said the other day, I'm not, move some of this stuff around. I'm not a big like new year, new me type person. But I do always feel like New Year is like a new opportunity to like start a new journey, start a new hobby, start a new goal. Set yourself some goals for the year that you want to reach and meet. Maybe like, hey, in 6 months I want to achieve this. My 6 month in June will be 1 year that I've been on this keto lifestyle change and intermittent fasting and working out. So yeah, I got about 6 months till I hopefully reach a goal. I'm setting some other goals for myself now, things I want to achieve and accomplish here in the next few months, 6 months, a year, this next year. But anyways, about depression. I've struggled with depression for a long time since I was a kid. I think the first time I started dealing with it was like my mom and dad would have like, and not to put them on blast, but all couples usually have struggles, financial, marital, whatever. And they would have their discretions where they would split up for little periods at a time, and my mom would leave and go to her best friend Pam's house. and stay with her friend Pam for, a week, couple weeks, sometimes a couple months. And I would be very depressed and angry and upset with my mom, thinking like, hey, why is she didn't want to be here with us, or she's, choosing her friend or her lifestyle or a boyfriend or something like that over us. So I think that's when I really started dealing with depression. And then obviously when I was in that accident and was in the hospital for a long time, and then was at home and did home physical therapy, couldn't hang out with my friends, missed a ton of school. I was depressed and sad and angry and pissed off, and couldn't go out and be a kid and do the things I wanted to do. Couldn't walk right away, and dealt with that. And then my brother got locked up for juvenile delinquent stuff, but he was away for like a year and a half, like 18 months. And I missed him terribly. He was my best friend. I was like 11, 12 at the time because I got in that accident, but he was like, so I was 11, he was 15, 16. We were really close then, and he got locked up and was away for a year and a half. We got very limited visits. Only my mom and dad could visit at first, and then I went for a couple visits. But yeah, that was sad and depressing. And then after that, it was just my brother died, was killed by a drunk driver when I was in my senior year of high school. Went into a depression. My mom went into a major off the rails depression for like 2 years. Quit her job, drugs, alcohol, just all kinds of crazy stuff. And then when she died, I was 25, 2 small kids. It was rough. Very like depressing and sad, and then anxiety on top of that. So, again, I'll just keep rambling. So I did do some research on depression, because everybody deals with it. And I just want to give you an example of like this 17-year-old kid at Waffle House. Like, we've become pretty much regulars at this Waffle House in North Canton. And there's a young kid there. His name's Connor. He's 17, lives at his parents'. Well, sorry, I just found out. We went there on Christmas. We went on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And I think it was Christmas Day he was working. Yeah, it was Christmas Day. Because he woke up at his mom's on Christmas Day, or his dad's. Anyways, I found out through this conversation on Christmas Day that his parents were split. He's 17. I knew he was young because he looks really, really young. Great kid, good personality, good waiter, for being 17. So I started asking him questions, like, hey, how's your Christmas morning? Did you, what time did you come in today? 7 a.m., he said. So I'm like, what do you typically do on Christmas morning? He's telling me, and along this conversation of him telling me about his Christmas morning, he tells me his parents are split, his mom and dad are split. So he has 2 separate households and lives, basically. He has a life with his mom and a life with his dad's, and there's different sets of rules. And so I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, my mom does all this and that. And he's clearly, talking about his mom. I can just tell that he's closer with her. And I'm like, well, what about your dad? Like, how's your dad? And he's just like, eh. I'm like, oh, is your dad just like strict, or he's just a dick, or like what? And he's like, he's just like, I don't know. He's got this new girlfriend, and he acts like he just doesn't care about me and my sister anymore. Man. That just, it really just kind of like tugged at my heart, because I'm like, here's this 17-year-old kid who's like going to school, he's paying his car payment, his insurance. I found out all this stuff from him. He's got a job. He wants his own money. He was playing baseball, and his mom and dad told him, as long as you keep playing baseball and doing these extracurricular things in school, you don't have to work and get a job. And he decided, I want to have a job and have my own money. So got his own little job and a car and making his own money. But so he's doing good, and he's a great kid. But I could just tell that it saddened him when he said that. Like, my dad has a new girlfriend, and he just doesn't seem to care about me and my sister anymore. And I thought, that's a form of depression. It made him sad to say that. So I looked up depression, and depression basically says it's a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest. It affects how you feel, think, and behave, and can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems. 5 most common signs of depression are just persistently feeling down or in a low mood, or just feeling in a funk of like, ugh, I just don't care. You don't necessarily have to be sad or depressed. Sometimes you can feel angry. It just your mood in general is not normal like you normally would be. I'm normally peace, love, and a lot of light. Like, I like to see the positive in everything, but I can be a little of a go fuck yourself sometimes, because I get angry and pissed off at things and sad and depressed. Sometimes we lose interest in new things that we start. Like, I wanted to start, I don't have any of my jewelry on, but I wanted to start making like these beaded bracelets and necklaces and stuff, because I bought a couple and I'm like, those are nice and I could make those. But I lost interest in that. Depression is when you lose interest in things that you really love and like, and you've always loved to do and like. It's different if you lose interest in things that you just started. Okay, I just started to try to learn how to roller skate and I don't like it anymore, so I've just lost interest. It's not necessarily depression. But I love music. I've always loved music. I have such a passion for it. I want to get a guitar this year and start learning how to play. But if I were to just all of a sudden lose interest in music and I just don't enjoy listening to it anymore, that's a sign of depression. Now, music for me is a huge outlet and it helps me with my depression. But there are times, like in the last 3 weeks, that I've just been like, I haven't been listening. I've been putting on like this stuff. This mood music stuff that you just listen to, that's not like typically music, that it's not like my normal music that I listen to. My rock, my rap, my R&B, my soul, my jazz, my bands that I like. You know, I don't want to listen to Alan Stone right now because he's positive and has such a great outlook and his music is such a good vibe. But if I'm feeling like angry and sad and pissed off, and misery loves company. So I put on this stuff to kind of help get me out of that mood or that funk or whatever. Also, another sign of depression is this feeling of worthlessness. You just don't feel like you're good enough, that you do enough, and you just feel worthless. Poor concentration. Normally, I'm very focused and concentrated at work, but if I'm like all over the place and feeling overwhelmed by my normal daily tasks, I'm usually going through some kind of like depression or funk or some kind of like manic episode. And then thoughts of harming yourself. A lot of times people get this very confused, where like there's a difference between like self-harm, because I have a friend and a family member who have tendencies to self-harm and like cut themselves. They don't want to die and they're not suicidal, but self-harm can be inflicting pain on yourself to take away, put pain here. I'd rather have pain and cut and bleed than have the emotional pain. And now I'm not a self-harmer. Depression can lead to suicidal thoughts. And with me, it's never usually that I want to die. It's usually that I just kind of want the loop of thoughts and negative feelings and sadness to end or stop. And that's where a lot of like accidental suicides come in, because people will think, I just want to take a few extra sleeping pills, shut off all the thoughts and stress and anxiety and depression, and just get some good heavy sleep. And they take 5 to 10 to 20 too many sleeping pills. Now look here, this is just depression causes that I looked up on Google, and I Google everything. And whenever you'll see, if you've ever Googled anything, you'll notice it drops down lots of other additional questions and information. So that's all I did here. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a professional. I do suffer from depression, anxiety, and some bipolar mood disorder. But they say here 4 major causes of depression can be a family history. Typically, if you have a family member or family members that suffer from depression or other mental health disorders, or symptoms of different things with depression, or then you might be prone to have that. You know what I mean? It's not always hereditary, but if a lot of people in your family suffer from depression, it's likely that you're probably going to experience some depression, whether it's mild or severe. Certain physical illnesses and health illnesses can cause you to be depressed. You know what I mean? If you have like Crohn's disease and you can't go out and do a lot of the things that people do because you have a debilitating disease that causes you, or irritable bowel syndrome because you got to be near a bathroom all the time, or whatever you have. My husband has type 2 diabetes, so there's certain things he can and can't eat or do or participate in because he's type 2 Like me, I love hot baths. I mean hot baths to where I'm like boiling like a lobster. He can't do that being type 2 diabetic because he has neuropathy in his feet. So I'm just saying, like, some people will get depressed because they can't go out and do certain things because they have illnesses or conditions that prevent them from living a full, happy life or having quality of life. Medications, drugs, and alcohol can also cause depression sometimes. If you're a raging alcoholic that drinks all the time and you think that everything's okay and you're just happy with drinking every single day, you're typically more than likely you have some type of depression that's causing you to want to drink or do drugs or medicate every day. Look at this. Hey, boy. All right, get your hand. Hey, move. All right, and then personality. Sometimes people just have personalities that are depressing and sad, and they just focus on the negative, and they're sad and depressed a lot because that's their personality. Yeah, so the biggest cause of depression here, well, I mean, there's no single cause of depression. It says it can occur for a variety of reasons, and it has many different triggers for some people. Like with me, it can be an upsetting or stressful life event, such as like a death, a divorce, an illness, redundancy of just feeling like I'm just stuck in this, like I just do the same thing all the time, every day, all day. Like I talked to my boss about it. Like I love what I do. I love serving people, helping people, solving problems. But is customer service just it for me? Is there more for me? I don't know. Can I do more? I want to do more. I don't want to just sit at a desk and just process applications and enrollments and just take customer service calls where people are angry and pissed off and want me to solve their problems. I mean, I love it. I do. I love my job. I love where I work. I love my boss. I really do. But I'm like, could I do more at this company? And of course, she's like, what do you want to do? Tell me. And I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. I just feel like I could do more. So redundancy, feeling helplessness when you want to help people around you and I can't because I'm struggling. Or I can help, but I can't do everything for them. Or I can't help them with struggles that they're struggling with because I'm struggling with those same things. Or if it's like job and money worries, like I have those same worries all the time, so it's hard for me to help. Yeah. Different causes can often cause depression, man. There's abundance of things that can cause depression, or it can be one tiny thing. I hate to bring up other people's struggles or experiences, but I had another friend that I worked at a call center with. Her name is Renee. And she lost her grandmother in a house fire that they were all in. And she suffers from like post-traumatic stress, like, because that's like, I can't even imagine. That's part of the reason actually why I stopped watching the news, because there was a story, it's been at least 2 months now since I've watched the news. A story about a family that had a house fire and everybody made it out but like 2 of the small kids. And I literally sat on the couch that morning and sobbed for 20 minutes and just cried because it just ripped my heart out that this poor family now, they made it through, a couple of the pets did, but they have to live now with this for the rest of their lives. That whenever these other siblings or parents think about these children or this girl that lost her grandmother, they all made it out. Her mom, I think pets, and maybe other, I don't remember, and I don't want to put all her information out there. I'm trying these new things with my hairstyle this year. We'll see. But I just thought to myself, like, she's got to live with that every day. You know what I mean? There's so many millions of people in therapy and on medication or just helping themselves, trying to get through this every day, dealing with these horrible things. So then I also looked like, how long is too long to be depressed? Because I was like hitting 3 weeks here now, being in this funk that like, I just couldn't shake it off, man. I usually have a really tight grip on, I'll get in a funk for a couple days or whatever, and I shake it off. But it says here, from a clinical perspective, symptoms of depression must be present for at least 2 weeks for a mental health professional to reach a diagnosis. Sometimes depression symptoms will last for only a few weeks. For many people, though, untreated depression could last for months, years, or a lifetime. You just have to kind of learn to live with it, deal with it, treat it professionally if you can, medicinally if you can, or try self-help ways to treat it yourself. Me personally, I try self-help ways and some holistic medicinal approaches, and other things besides medicinal, holistic, also like aromatherapy, essential oils, CBD, sleeping medication. I will take some of that. I have utilized antidepressants, bipolar medication, anxiety medication in the past as a child, an adolescent, a young adult, and as just recently, I was on the Zoloft to get off of the smoking cigarettes. Now, I've been out of cigarettes, or done with that for over 2 years now. So, knock on wood, I haven't taken any like medication for, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. If you need to seek medical help with prescription medication, do it, whatever works for you. Does depression get better on its own? The severity of the depression can also impact whether it will go away on its own. If the depression is mild, it may resolve itself without any type of formal treatment. If you have moderate or severe depression, additional treatment may be needed to get it to subside. What I'm going to do, I'm going to continue to do what I do to treat my depression and anxiety, because it's always kind of worked for me. Do I have problems where I have spurts of times where it's rougher? I don't even know. It's harder to deal with than certain times of the year. Certain things will trigger my depression and anxiety. But this year, what I'm going to go to is gratitude and meaningfulness. I am so grateful for everything that I do have in my life. I looked up gratitude, the quality of being thankful, the readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. Gratitude is a warm feeling of thankfulness towards the world, towards specific individuals, and the person who feels gratitude is thankful for what they have and does not seek constant approval from others for validation or self-worth. I'm going to do that for myself. Why is gratitude so powerful? And this is what I found out. In positive psychological research, gratitude is strongly and consistently associated with greater happiness. Gratitude helps people feel more positive emotions, relish in the good experiences. It improves their health, helps them deal with adversity, and build strong relationships. So then, of course, you know, Google gives me a little more. It helps you notice, it says here that the 3 steps that can help you start feeling more grateful and appreciative of the good things in your life. Notice good things, look for them and appreciate them. Savor, absorb, and really pay attention to those good things. Express your gratitude to yourself, write it down, and thank someone daily for what they do for you. If they help you, they're just there for you. Thank you. And then my second thing I'm going to do, this is going to be my year of mindfulness. So of course I looked up that and the definition of mindfulness. It's the quality or state of being conscious or aware of something. A mental state achieved by focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensation used as a therapeutic technique. So what exactly is mindfulness? It's a type of meditation in which you focus on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling in the moment. Without interpretation or judgment, practicing mindfulness involves breathing methods, guided imagery, didn't mean to put that right up there, and other practices to relax the body and mind and help reduce stress. So, real quick before I wrap this up, because I know I'm hitting like 30 minutes, it says here the 7 principles of mindfulness. Non-judging, our minds assess and judge endlessly, try not to judge. Patience, it's the act of understanding that things will unfold in their own time, even if we don't see immediate results. Beginner's mind, trust, non-striving, acceptance or acknowledgement, and letting go and letting be. So it says here, the next time you practice mindfulness in any form, consider practicing it with intention and some serious attitude. So it says inherent in mindfulness practices is the cultivation of 7 core attitudes. Non-judging. Our minds assess and adjudge endlessly. It's part of our evolutionary development and necessary for our fight or flight response to danger or threat. But some judgments on a personal level become repetitive and unhelpful and may lead to one's general sense of not being good enough. So non-judging is about becoming an impartial witness to our own experience by developing an awareness of our insistent judging of ourselves, our experience, and of others. In mindful practices, we pay attention, but in particular way from more neutral point of view, be curious and let judgments go. Number 2 is patience. Patience is the act of understanding that things will unfold in their own time, even if we don't see immediate results. It's about giving yourself permission to take time and space for necessary mindful practices without attachment to any particular outcome, and just see what unfolds. 3 is beginner's mind. Too often we let our beliefs and what we know blind us from seeing things just as they are. In mindfulness practice, we try to cultivate a beginner's mind in which we see everything as it is for the first time without any preconceived expectation. Who knows? Our new perspectives may lead to new beginnings. Number 4 is trust, and I know that's hard for a lot of people. Developing basic trust in yourself and your feelings is integral to meditation training. It's better to trust your own intuition, even if you make some mistakes along the way, then always to look outside yourself for direction. Be open and receptive to what you can learn from other sources. But ultimately, the intention is to find your own wisdom from within and to trust in that unfolding itself. 5 is non-striving. Though meditation takes a certain kind of work and energy, essentially it's non-doing. We may say to ourselves, if only I could relax and be a better meditator, have a healthier body, etc., then I would be okay. suggesting that an idea of how we should be implies that right now I'm not okay just as I am. Non-striving is not the same as no effort. It's more about being present with intention while letting go of the results. This is the most difficult mindfulness attitude to embrace because most everything we do with purpose and with a goal in mind. So it's kind of hard to be non-striving. But in the meditation domain, however, goals are more effectively gained by backing off from striving so hard and focusing more carefully and seeing and accepting things just as they are. Acceptance creates a touchstone for growth, but more on that below. Number 6 is acceptance and acknowledgement. Acceptance means seeing things as they are, as they actually are in the present moment. Whatever your present physical, emotional, or spiritual state, if you don't want to remain stuck in a frustrating, vicious cycle of wanting things to be different, you might realize that this is the only time you can love and accept yourself. Remember, this is the only time you have for anything. An important caveat is acceptance. Acceptance is that it does not mean that you have to like everything or that you have to take a passive attitude and abandon your principles. It is simply a willingness to see things as they are right now. We remind ourselves to be receptive and open to whatever we're thinking, feeling, or seeing, and accept it because that is the key to change, healing, and sustainable growth. And number 7 is letting go and letting be. As we start paying attention to our inner experiences, we discover a pattern of certain thoughts, feelings, or past experiences that the mind seems to want to hold on to. If they are pleasant, we try to prolong and stretch out those feelings. And then bringing them up again and again and again because they make us feel good. If they're unpleasant, we may try to get rid of them or protect ourselves from them by pushing them away again and again and again. In meditation practice, we put aside our tendency to elevate the good aspects of our experience and reject the not so good aspects. When we become aware of the mind's impulses to dwell, grasp, and push away, we recognize them and choose not to pursue them any further. We just observe, let go, or notice and let these things be. Imagine what some aspects of life could be like if we could just let go and let things be. It's a practice, man, and I'm about to go and embark on this practice, and I hope you join me. I'm slowly getting back on Facebook, so you check me out on Facebook. I'm slowly coming back. Instagram, check me out. I'll keep posting pictures of my foods. I'm getting ready to go out and post now my lunch that Dirty Keto Grandpa made. But on Facebook, I follow this perspective of the day. And I'm telling you, these things come to me when I need to hear them. And I'm going to read this to you real quick. It's just a quick one, and I'm going to wrap it up with this. Thank you for taking the time out of your New Year's to click on this video and check it out. I'm going to keep doing daily vlogs because I love it and it makes me feel good to talk to you guys. This came to me and it says this: this year has changed you. Talking about last year because I found this yesterday on New Year's Eve. This year has changed you. You are no longer accepting the bad energy that people put onto you. You no longer need validation and acceptance. You know your worth. You are choosing yourself in every aspect of your life. Your whole mindset has changed for the better. You are now looking at everything through the lens of prosperity and peace. And that's the new you today and tomorrow. And that is the motto that I am going to live with for this whole year. I've already started prior. I've been coloring and doing these mandalas. And yeah, I was doing a lot of reading and like self-help reading, and my boss was like, stop reading. You're just going to drive yourself crazy reading. I've also been like downloading lots of stuff. Sometimes it's okay to just go slow. And that's what I'm going to do, man. I'm just going to go slow. And I'm going to be mindful this year. And I want all of you to join me on this journey. Thanks for joining me, you guys. I know it's kind of a long video. Hit the thumbs up if you relate in any way. If you're dealing with any kind of depression and you want to talk about it, comment down below. If you don't want to comment down below and you want a private message and talk to me, hit me up on Facebook. That's honestly the best way to get to me. You don't even have to hit friend request. I believe we can message each other without being friends on Facebook. If you need someone to talk to, please message me. I will make the time to talk to you because I always stop whatever I'm doing to talk to someone that takes the time to talk to me. There's nothing greater than feeling, well, it sucks to feel alone and isolated and like you have no one to talk to. So I understand, because when someone reaches out to me and says, hey, how are you today? How's your day? It's the best feeling in the whole wide world. Even if I'm having the shittiest day and I feel like that big and I don't feel good and I feel worthless, for that quick second, I feel it just feels great for someone to say, hey, how are you? So if you need to talk to anybody, and you, whether you know me or not, and you just need someone to talk to, comment down below or hit me up on Facebook Messenger. We can also, I think, chit chat through Instagram and TikTok and stuff. So hit me up, guys. I appreciate you taking the time. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already subscribed. Hit subscribe, and let's go on this journey together of self-reflection, body, mind, and soul. Let's get our minds and our bodies right together. Dirty Keto for life. Dirty Keto Grandma here. Thanks, guys.